The following segment is a paid commercial program by Heritage Bank, member FDIC. It's time for Ask the Expert on News Talk 1340 and 96.3 FM, KWLM.
Yeah, thanks for joining us this morning. And from Heritage Bank is the Business Relationship Manager, Jeremy Goltz. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Tell us about Jeremy Goltz a little bit. Where did you graduate high school?
Graduated from Tracy Milroy High School down in southwest Minnesota.
Yeah.
Spent some time, went to college at St. John's, and then I've been around the St. Cloud and Wilmer areas working since.
Yeah, in Paynesville right now,
yep,
correct?
Live in Paynesville now.
Yeah,
currently.
So you work out of the Spicer offices then?
Correct.
Yeah,
yep.
And we commiserated. We're both long-suffering Minnesota sports fans.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, fun season this year for the Vikings, and then a predictable ending.
Right, that's the way it always goes.
That's right. So Business Relationship Manager, what is that exactly?
Yep, we work with businesses, local businesses, for their lending needs or banking needs. So again, whether it's on the deposit side, for our cash management services, or on the lending side for operating loans, our equipment loans, or just business financing for expansion.
Mm-hmm. So you're just cultivating those and visiting with people, getting them lined up with the right representative to get them what they need.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, and then doing radio.
And then doing some radio, too.
That's right, here today. In particular, small business association loans. A small business can be very challenging. You need a partner in a good banker like Heritage Bank. What does SBA exactly stand for?
Yep, SBA is Small Business Administration, and most people are more familiar with that acronym or that terminology going back to COVID and PPP for the Payment Protection Program, where the SBA assisted small businesses with funding through those challenging times. But the SBA has been around, and especially on the 7A side, since 1953, assisting small businesses with access to capital.
Yeah. So how does funding actually work? If you're a small businessman or you're trying to get a startup going, what do they have to do?
Yep, and all loans are obviously subject to approval, of course.
Yeah.
But what the SBA does is provides access to necessary capital for small businesses. Percentage of the loan is backed by the government, making the loans less risky for lenders. And the SBA doesn't actually do the lending. You'd work with local lenders like Heritage Bank to provide capital through the SBA loan program. SBA is a little different from conventional financing, as it allows financing with less money down and longer terms than conventional lending.
Oh, that's great. And the longer terms can be helpful. Sometimes it can take a little bit for someone to get that, if it's a startup in particular, off the ground.
Yeah, especially for new businesses or startup businesses. Common loan term is 10 years, which allows the businesses to have adequate cash flow to support their expenses and employee needs during the ramp-up time, but also have a manageable payment for their business loan.
And so, is there various types of financing? Are there just different interest rates available depending on business? How does that work?
Well, the 7A program is the most familiar program, and that's really can be used for lack of a better term, anything under the sun for financing. So, the SBA is for-profit companies in the United States, so nonprofits aren't eligible for SBA 7A financing.
Yep.
But it can really be used for anything business related. It can be used to start a business, purchase a business, purchase real estate, refinance business debt, working capital for the business or equipment financing. And one thing I'll mention on the real estate side, SBA is a program tailored for owner-occupied real estate. So it's not intended for investment purposes. There can be some space in your business that you lease out to another business, but the primary use of the building and the facility is for operating the subject business. So it's not a passive income business, not intended for rental real estate.
Franchising, anything like that?
You can do franchising on the small business side, but you just can't lease the space out to other occupants.
So if you're operating it?
If you're operating it, you're eligible for SBA financing, correct.
Very good. So you don't want to walk in and say, yep, I need an SBA loan. Ready? A little preparation you should go through. Talk about what someone that was looking for an SBA loan, what should they have? Be ready to go with?
Yeah. I mean, with any sort of lending, whether it's SBA or not, having a business plan is a good idea. Whether it's a 10-page business plan or 3 paragraphs. It's always good for us to know what the business does and how it's going to make money. Talks about maybe some competition that you have, and even key roles in the business. If you're bringing someone in to help manage the business, what is their background? What is your background? And what your marketing efforts and business projections may be. It's always good to have, if it's an existing business, current financials. If it's a startup business, having projections to show what you feel the business can do on that side of it. And then we look at the personal side as well. What your personal financial statement looks like, what capital you have to inject in the business and support a business, as well as your background and your financial condition.
That might sound like a lot for a small business owner if they're starting something up, even where they're just maybe doing the labor themselves. But they can get help from you guys. You can help them put that together.
Yeah. We can assist with that, and we can talk to them about it and walk them through it a little bit. We always want them to be the expert on. Excuse me. We always want them to be the expert on the projection side of it and what the business will do. But, we can talk them through it. If you think you're going to, do $1 million in sales in a year and you're going to do a sub shop, what does that look like for an average ticket price of a customer? How many hours are you open? How many subs do you need to sell in a day, to meet or exceed those projections as well?
Yeah. I'm sure you've given SBA loans to people in our communities around here nearby. Have any stories you can share?
Yeah, we do have a couple local stories for customers that I've worked with here at Heritage. We've had a company that was a startup in the manufacturing space that they leased a space to start their business. They've since purchased the real estate to operate their business, and they're looking at an expansion. Through all of that, they've added jobs to the local community as well. Worked with another on a business acquisition where they bought the real estate and the business. The sellers were looking to retire. They took over the business, added some jobs, expanded the business, and then we've had some other working capital loans, whether it's been for equipment or adding space to their existing location, different types of financing that way as well.
And that all started with an SBA loan.
That's correct. Yep.
So what are the sizes of SBA loans? I mean, what if somebody goes, gosh, I don't need $1 million. What's this low end and the high end?
Yeah. On the SBA side, I mean, you can go as low as you need to. The high end of it is $5 million. So it's a pretty broad program to encompass, small business lending needs, to capture anything, from a smaller startup business to maybe, a larger business looking to purchase, a $2 million piece of equipment.
So it is for expansion as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. But as long as it's owner operated right on site.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's great. So, people might be thinking, well, maybe mine isn't going to be big enough to start out, but those are kind of the bit you're looking for. Small businesses, really such a huge part of the private industry in our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're happy to support small businesses and continue to provide financing to them to help support their growth as well.
Yeah. Is there collateral needed, anything like that for an SBA loan? Yeah,
so there is collateral requirements. With the SBA, it's not necessarily loan-to-value requirements for the collateral. SBA relies on the credit, the capacity, and the cash flow of the subject business is primarily what we're looking at, or the proposed business. Blanket lien is filed on the business assets for collateral. And then the SBA does allow less money down, like I mentioned. So you might have less money down and go on a longer term. The loans are fully amortizing, so there's no balloon payment. And then if there is a collateral shortfall based on the proposed loan, then oftentimes SBA would look to add personal real estate as additional collateral to help mitigate any credit risk on the file. But you can purchase a piece of equipment and put no money down on it and finance that piece of equipment for your business. Again, preserving liquidity in the business by not having to put money down or not as much money down as you would on conventional financing.
How do you look at the risk for SBA? Is each one of them assessed differently, I'm sure, but kind of overall, are those considered good loans for the bank? Yeah,
they're good loans for the bank. Like I said, there's a guarantee with the government. Typical loan would be a 75% guarantee on it. So, it allows lending institutions to help smaller businesses that otherwise wouldn't be financeable on the conventional side, access to capital to grow their business that way.
What's kind of an average size loan that SBA does, your bank does in this area?
I would say average size loan is probably going to be around the $200,000 range. Like I said, I mean, you can go below that and you can go all the way up to $5 million, but that seems to be more common just based on local business needs.
Leasing of space, getting their product in first all at once.
Yep. So inventory, leasing space. Yeah, SBA can provide financing, like I mentioned, if you're leasing space. So you're going to start up a business and lease space from someone else, and you need to build out that space. You can use an SBA loan to finance the build out of that location, even though you don't own the real estate.
So if someone puts up their personal property as collateral for an SBA loan, how do the two commingle, I guess? Does the federal government is good with that?
Yeah, it's a junior lien on their personal real estate.
Okay.
Or if there's no mortgage on their personal real estate, it's the mortgage on their real estate. It's just really viewed as additional collateral. So it's just helping collateralize the SBA loan to help mitigate the risk that's on it. It's SBA lending. It's still prudent lending. So having additional collateral on there is just prudent with the SBA to satisfy that.
What's the percentage of success for small business owners that pay back their SBA loan?
I would say it's really high. I don't know the percentage right offhand, but again, the main thing with the lower money down and longer term loan really helps the small businesses with capital and cash flow to make the business successful with lower monthly payments.
Yeah. Now, you maybe covered this, but if a business meets the size standards, can any business get an SBA loan then?
Yeah, so there are size standards. Not any business is eligible for an SBA loan, but the size standard on it is pretty broad as well. You can't exceed a net worth of a business of $15 million, or on the alternative size, that $15 million, or 2 years. 2 years of federal income taxes not exceeding $5 million in net income. So pretty broad on that side. There are requirements on the SBA side, even if you fit that criteria, obviously, again, subject to approval. But there are checks and balances with the SBA because not everyone is going to qualify for it. So one thing that comes to mind is the credit of not available elsewhere. So you have to, in order to support or provide SBA financing, you have to be able to show that credit is not available elsewhere on reasonable terms from non-federal, non-state, or non-local government sources without SBA assistance. So, if someone can put, has a business that they've been in for 10 years and can put 50% down and purchase real estate, they're probably not a good fit on the SBA side.
I see.
But if it's a startup business, that's not common to do on the conventional side, especially businesses operating less than 2 years. So there are some things that you need to qualify on the SBA side. But again, if you're starting up a business, that's usually going to be adequate for SBA financing right off the go.
So do they come and see you at Spicer for an SBA loan?
Yep. Right. Located in Spicer. They can come to us or I can go to them. We can meet, discuss the business that they're looking at or their existing business and what their financing needs are.
Mm-hmm. HeritageBankNA.com is the website. Lots of information on there. And what's your phone number? They can get directly a hold of you, Jeremy.
Yep. They can contact me directly, 320-214-5595. Again, right out of the Spicer location.
Yeah. Jeremy, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Go Twins this summer.
Yes, go Twins.
Yeah. Jeremy Goltz joining us this morning, Business Relationship Manager with Heritage Bank Spicer Branch.